Do tell us what has been one or two of your biggest failures or...
They're yet to come. They're yet to come.
That you told.
They have to be yet to come because the biggest ones I obviously would have surmounted. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here, right? So I guess they weren't as big. At that moment, they will seem unsurmountable. See, because most people look at missed opportunities as a big failure. And I think that also is a flaw. Because if you catch 5 good opportunities and 45 get missed, I think we spend disproportionate time on the regret on the 45 missed opportunities than on the 5 that we missed. Because actually, you're remembered for 3 or 4 big things. You're not going to be remembered for 45 little things. Because if you're remembered for 45 little things, you're not going to be remembered. And I'm not talking about remembered as in on your tombstone and what do you want to be left at as a legacy. The impact you'll make is on the big things. So let's go find the big things that we need to do and not stop worrying about the small things.
Yeah. I want to ask you about this benchmark. Today, all said and done, we do benchmark with each other and with entrepreneurs who've raised a lot of funding. Yesterday, there was someone who's raised seed round of $20 million.
You're putting benchmark with raising funding?
वो भी तो है ना? क्यों नहीं?
वो भी तो है is fine, but वो है is problem.
Of course, है. दिल पे लगता है that yesterday someone raised seed funding of $20 million.
So the expectancy for that seed run will be they'll expect a forest very soon, not one tree.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for an incredible amount of expectation. So I would not congratulate the person. I would empathize with this person who raised $30 million in a seed round. Unless you're planning to then skip and go somewhere else with that 30 million, I think it's very, very onerous.
But we do look up to unicorns. We celebrate unicorns.
Why would we look up to a unicorn? I just want to tell you, when you start at a certain level and you benchmark yourself with this unicorn context, then your next step is even more. And then by the time you actually get to the real building a serious business and get yourself valued, you put so much pressure on yourself and your team. It's a great thing to say you got valued at that, but the pressure you put on your colleagues and your team, because after that, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of going forward. So I would just say for people, we're building a serious business. You're going to be rewarded for being the last man standing. You're going to be rewarded for staying the course. You're going to be rewarded for, I'm going to outlast most people. I don't have the statistics right now, but the first 100 unicorns that happened during the COVID time, whatever, I'd say that 25 of them today who had to be revalued with a primary round would be unicorns. 75 are demoted. Demoted. Not demotivated, but demoted. So if you look at that, why would you look up to a unicorn?
But it's very important that you're calling this out because this has been the story. In the last few years, this has been...
But that's nothing to yearn about. I'm trying to explain to you, every time you feel good about that, please understand that it's too onerous. And if you don't, you're going to take that pressure on yourself. You're going to take the pressure on your 20 people or 200 people or 2,000 people. And then it'll start actually be a law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Just go out and build the business you want to. The final outcome will come 5 years, 7 years, 8 years on a long-term basis.
Ronnie, to everyone, and most of the entrepreneurs people here today are looking at opportunities, looking at growing their businesses, scaling, and looking at, listening to a lot of leaders, meeting people. What would you say, 1 or 2 things from your own journey that is critical to stay the course?
Yeah, I think you raised a very relevant point about scaling. And I think it is important. It's very tough. This whole 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 myths is like this unicorn terminology. I mean, I don't know whether you're always good at 0 to 1 and therefore you'll never be good at 1 to 10. And even in the 1 to 10 now, it's to be broken up into 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, because life has got very complicated. Businesses have got very complicated. So I don't think people are there for 2 to 10 anymore. You have to actually kind of break them up. But I mean, my input there really would be when you want to kind of stay the course, I think the scale part is very, very important, especially in a country like India. If you're building a business, anything you have to do, you can only be if you can be at scale. And look, I've seen a lot of people with a lot of passion. They've left high-paid jobs, successful in their own way, found their new purpose in life. and realigned themselves and said, I want to do something on my own for the right reasons. But to get that scale, even when you're running that business, is very, very tricky and important. And you're only going to unlock value for that. So I think for a lot of people, you need to understand that if you moved your purpose, you're doing it because of your own self-satisfaction. And then everyone is looking at scale, because the damn problem is the media forces you to look at those 10 isolated cases, 5 of which turn accidental unicorns because they're in the right place, the right time. And 5 people listed and got to a different value. And then all you're looking at is these 10 people. And then the pressure to get to there is not that easy, because scaling a business is very difficult.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult. It requires a lot of resilience and a lot of patience. The worst thing you can do while you're scaling your business is to burn a lot of money. Because the recipe is, at some stage, you will have to burn less money. And then your scale will come down. And I don't think that people get. And that's why I'm saying we shouldn't celebrate unicorns. Because that means you've got a lot of, into inverted commas, free money at a value that was a little bit beyond what it should have been. Now you want to go out and spend it, and then the growth story will come down, because that spending ratio to scale ratio is not going to happen. So I can't overemphasize the fact that it's a very, very tricky business to scale, which is why you need the patience to build something really serious. The narratives that come about, in my opinion, unfortunately, are not that serious. And somebody's built it and then they've got a valuation and the two don't tally. That whole myth has to be shattered. And I would urge everyone here, just go out there, believe in your own self-conviction, take your time, but build the business that you really want to build. And scale is not easy. Prepare your team for what you want to do it meticulously. That doesn't mean you won't get it. You'll get a good break, and then there'll be a sudden surge, and then the main point is not to drop. The main point is not just set yourself up where it starts dropping, because that's when you start losing your confidence.
It takes a lot of time. And the other thing which I worry about and think about and feel very complexed about sometimes is that this is 15 years of TechSpark. One has been doing it for 15 years. And then you say someone comes and does everything in 15 months or 15 days. How do you deal with that? That someone becomes so successful in such a short span of time. And some of us give so many.
So define successful, meaning you've got a history of 15 years. What have they done in 15 days that you think will last the next 15 years for them is the question you need to ask.
Wow.
And if some of them have done it, astounding.
Now I'm feeling good also.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we ask the first part of our question and then we get lost by asking not the full question in the thought process. There is a value for which you've done what you've done. If somebody can do it in 15 days, fantastic. But the fact of the matter is, now let's see for the next 15 years how they'll double this act, triple this act, quadruple this act. Because actually, they've done it impetuously in some. And I'm not standing judgment. Maybe you will always find that one people who'll come in there and just with good fortune happen to be in the right place, the right time.
Yeah.
The big challenge to them will be, it'll be a situation where it'll be difficult for them to, not having run the waves, the challenges, and got to there. They're going to face it afterwards, what you've already faced. So it's a balance. I think you always look at the grass on the other side. It's never greener on the other side.